Kandamandalakaram vyaptam yena characharam tatpadam darshidam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimirandasya jnananjanam shalakaya chakshurmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurur Sakshat Paraparam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So today nothing very serious is happening. We have just come. I wish we were closer, but um, we just have an introductory satsang today, and then from tomorrow we will start serious affairs. Now we will just know each other for a time. Hmm. So, how do you find this place? It's nice, right? It's like a forest, lot of rocks everywhere, which is what we always demolish to build apartments, still retained. And it's an atmosphere, good atmosphere for a satsang. In fact, if there were not so many people, we could have had it under the tree and not enough place there. Now, why am I here? I told you, today is just a general introduction. I'm here because I have been commissioned to teach. Commissioned to teach. Otherwise, I have no desire to teach. I have no joy in being with lots of people. I'm a person who likes to be alone. This is not my ideal way of living. But I have promised and I have been commissioned to go and teach and not complain. I'm not complaining. Long ago, 2.5 years after, 2 years, not 2.5, after I met Maheshwarnath Babaji, who is my personal guru, he asked me one day, what do you think of yourself? 2 years you've been with me. Do you think you've become a yogi? What do you think of yourself? Very sincerely, I told Babaji, I think I'm your puppy dog. He said, which means what? Which means, I said, like old, his master's voice, HMV, there's a big, what is that thing called? I don't know. Phone, and there's a dog sitting up, looking at it. I said, I'm like that, Babaji. I don't know anything else. So he said, he left it there. Another year passed. Then he asked me again the same thing. I said, this is what I told you, Babaji. And he said, what did I say? I said, you said you may be my puppy dog, but don't wag your tail too much. I said that. Yes, Babaji, you said that. Then go and do your job, go and teach. Because I was saying I'm not going anywhere. I don't want to teach. I want to hang around here with you, move around happily, no agenda, no booking tickets, no nothing. Just walk, go where you want, sit near the river, meditate, enjoy. This is what I wanted to do. I told him. He said, no, now you don't wag your tail. You go and do exactly what I'm asking you. Go and start teaching. And I was wondering, what will I teach? I want to tell you this, another story about another great man. Swami Chinmayananda first came to Rishikesh as a young journalist from the Times of India. That time he was not Swami Chinmayananda. His name was Bhaskar Menon. He came there to find out and expose the ashramas in Rishikesh as a young journalist. So he went around to different ashramas. He stayed in Shivananda ashram in Rishikesh, and after a year or so, he resigned from the newspaper and became a brahmachari in the Shivananda ashram. After that, he spent some time, some years there. Swami Shivananda Saraswati was still alive at that time. He initiated him into sannyas. So he took sannyas and he changed his name to Swami Chinmayananda. Then he was not too interested in the yoga asanas and all the things that were going on there. You know, the Divine Life Society, there a lot of stress laid on yoga asanas, pranayama. He was more philosophically inclined. He wanted to study Vedanta. So he went to Swami Shivananda after taking sannyas, of course, from him, and said, I want to study Vedanta and Upanishads. Okay? So they do, what do I do? So Swami Shivananda said, here, this is all you can get. If you want to learn Vedanta, go to Uttarkashi. There in a small kutir, there is a Swami called Tapovan Maharaj. He is popularly known as Malayalam Swami. Hmm. You go there to him. He is from your state. Go there to him and he will teach. He is a better teacher of Vedanta. You can learn. He said, all right. And then he went there. Don't think all these stories are not important. There are many things to learn. He went to the Swami Tapovan Maharaj and he was sitting there as usual. And he bowed down to him. So he asked him, what is your name? He said, Chinmayananda. Wearing orange robe, of course. This is not I'm not a sannyasi, it is a shawl. I love the color, but I can't fully wear it. Okay. Chinmayananda. So already sannyas. Who gave you sannyas? You're still a young man. Divine Life Society. Then he commented, oh, wholesale sannyas there. Swamiji was a little worried. What is this? Then why did you come here? Swamiji recommended that I come here to learn Vedanta. Hmm. Then by the time they talked, when you talk Hindi and you're from Kerala, not me, I'm different. In 5 minutes from the accent you can make out where a person. So he said, oh, you're from Kerala? Yes. Nani kyu? He said, oh, stay. Then he learnt 8 years with Tapovan Maharaj. 8 years. Upanishads, Vedanta, Gita. And at the end of 8 years, he told him, now I'm going. Where? I'm going out into the plains to teach with such knowledge that I need to teach others. Tapovan Maharaj asked him, teach what? What have you learned? In 8 years, what have you learned? He said, whatever I learned, I am going to teach. He said, okay, bless you. Go. The same way, when Babaji said you have to teach, I wondered, what am I going to teach? He said, you will figure out. धीरे धीरे समझ में आ जाएगा. I said, Pranam Babaji, आपकी आज्ञा जो भी हो, आने के. Not only that, he also said, I should get married, live a family life. I said, no, second point, why? I'll go back, I will teach. All right. Then he suddenly said, who asked you to teach? I said, you said teach, right? He said, not now, wait. get married, lead a family life, work for your living, and then after some years, I will give you a green seed. Before that, you cannot teach. So, for many years, till I turned 40, I did not open my mouth. I used to go and listen to other satsangs and quietly, not asking questions, kissing nothing. At the age of 40, I got a signal which I read as a green signal. You will see it in my autobiography. Then I started teaching. Now, what did I do? How does anybody know that I teach? People have to come, right, to learn. Who will come? So, one of my friends used to go to a jewelry in Jeweler Street in Bangalore. He went there to clean some jewelry. And the owner of the shop was very interested in meditation and things like that. Yogis, Himalayas. So this guy told him, I have a friend from school who has gone to the Himalayas, and, learned a lot of things. I think he's genuine. He doesn't talk much to people. So maybe if you meet him, your interest will be satisfied. As things would happen, I went 3 days later to the shop. My mother-in-law wanted her jewelry cleaned. So I went there. And then I saw him keeping a picture of Babaji inside the shop. And then when I told him my name and where, you are from Trivandrum? I said, yes. But your friend Prem had come here and he said that. I said, yeah, people say many things. Don't take it too seriously. By the time I'd already got this signal, which I thought was a green signal, but I thought we'll resist it as much as we can. So I said, no, I don't think I can do any such thing, but let's have a satsang. I said, look, come on. Finally, I agreed to a satsang at the Theosophical Society, Bangalore, in the old building, on Sunday. Sunday they met. I went there. I thought that it's a small structure, there will be few people there. When I went there, there were about 50, 60 people sitting. And I'm sitting here and I don't know what to tell them. So, this is something good for you also. I looked at everybody and I was a little bit nervous. So, there was one guy sitting in front of me. I don't know if he's still alive, a bald man, I forget his name. He was sitting in front of me. So, I said, forget about the rest. Talk to this gentleman in front, as if he's alone. Why not? So I spoke to him about my trip to the Himalayas, how I met Babaji. I did not realize it was about 1 hour. Some questions, answers. At the end of that, they said this was a very nice and original satsang. Can we have every Sunday? I said, I'm sorry, this has happened by mistake. I'm going back, and I came back. The whole circus started there. So today I'm here. I go all over. It started there, that little Theosophical Society. Because when Babaji gave the green signal, he decided, open the door. So now I'm sitting here, you have come from all over. Uh, the most important text that that exists today in the world on the practice of meditation, yoga, and so on, authentic, accepted by all, is the Yoga Darshana, of which Yoga Sutras of Patanjali are considered standard. Now, if you look at the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, I'm sure some of you might have seen. The first chapter of the Yoga Sutras is not how to practice Kriya or whatever. It is called Samadhi Pada, which means where are you where are you likely to reach if you practice? Because you should know your blueprint, where you're going. Simply if I start practicing something without having a map, roadmap of where I'm going, it can end up either in disaster or in defeat. So, because we are dealing with energies in our system, which are real, which are not jokes, I mean, they're real. And therefore, if you don't know how to guide them, where you're going, and so on, and start practicing, you're sure to end up in trouble. So, therefore, the first chapter, Patanjali wrote as Samadhipada. Samadhi meaning that state, the superconscious state, into which one goes through the practice of yoga. Any yoga. That is the aim. And the ultimate samadhi is kaivalya, freedom. Buddha said freedom from sorrow for all mankind. Something similar. This is where you're going. You're not practicing yoga to fly in the air or walk on the water or to produce rudrakshas or any such thing. You are practicing kriya to reach a high level of consciousness, which is part of your own inner being, which is blissful and which will complete the process of life. This is what we need to look. The whole description in the Samadhi Pada is how the mind, when it is still and quiet. Now, this is not an easy thing, but when it is, it enters into a state of Samadhi where it understands that we are not the limited entities that we think we are, but something more than that. Where we have access to infinite sources of energy. This is the aim. Therefore, it was discussed as the Samadhi Pada, the different Savikalpa Samadhi, that's technical, but whatever. Then the next chapter is called Sadhana Pada, the practice. Now, how does Patanjali describe sadhana? For the first sentence of sadhana. Tapas, Swadhyaya, Easwara Pranadhanani, Kriya Yoga. Patanjali himself uses the word Kriya Yoga. Saying what you are going to learn now is Kriya. Starting with tapas, Swaadhyaya, Easwara Pranidhana. When you put all these together, it is Kriya. So what is the first step? Tapas. And what is tapasya? The age when people did tapasya, standing in the water on one foot with their hands up, is gone. Treta Yuga. Now human life is so short, you won't last even 10 days in there. Today, tapasya, actually the real meaning of the word tapasya, it is derived from the Sanskrit root tapa, which means heat. So tapasya is heat. So what does that mean? Which means the friction that is created, the heat that is generated, when you are trying to take control of your senses, the senses are running this way, and you want to hold it and bring them back, turn within. That friction of trying to bring something which is always going out in pravritti marga to bringing it out into nivritti marga, this pressure, this friction is tapas, the heat. Plus, most people are moving with the stream. Wherever the stream takes you, takes us, we go. One person suddenly realizes, no, this is not okay. I can't do this. He stands up and says, he or she, let me swim against the stream. Now, if you swim against something flowing this way in the opposite direction, heat is produced, sparks are produced. This is tapasya. So, from our understanding, tapasya, therefore, is the attempt of the human mind to not let the senses control the mind, but let the mind control the senses. Well, you can use your senses. Without using your senses, you can't see. I can't see you if I close my chakshu. Right? I can't taste food if I don't have shrotra, ears. I cannot hear even auspicious thing. So they're important. But they have a habit of running away with you. Sometimes they come in different shapes, even religious and spiritual shapes. There are so many people who would have loved to run away with the Guru. I'm not joking. I encounter this every day. Now to put a stop to that, control yourself and turn in the reverse direction is tapasya, not this. So tapasya simply means resistance, and the heat generated through resistance is tapasya. Then, next. What is the next? Swadhyaya. Now, Swadhyaya, in one way, could be translated as self-study, understanding, no spoon feeding. The beginning required, after some time you should learn to study it yourself. And most of the ancient texts we have on this subject are crystal clear. A little bit of help is required. It's there for you to study. Swadhyaya. The other meaning of Swadhyaya is Swadhyaya also means studying yourself. Swayam. Now, what is Swadhyaya, studying yourself? It means to understand oneself as one is. Suddenly one may jump to the conclusion. Swadhyaya, to study oneself means I am actually not this body, I am the Supreme. You don't know all that right now. Maybe that may be a superimposition on your mind that you are the Supreme Brahman. Maybe. Shankara said the other way. So, Swadhyaya begins with understanding oneself as one is right now. What kind of a human being am I? Studying myself as I am. Now, this cannot be possible unless we live in society. Afterwards, you can go in and contemplate in a cave. Unless you live in society, you will not know where you stand. Suppose I am in the cave, in isolation. There is no other human being. How do I know how I behave with people, what I do? There is no reaction because nobody to react to, right? So, in this world, while we live, studying ourselves as we are, how good we are, how bad we are. I mean, when I say bad, how negative we are, how positive we are, how do we react to people and things. All these things is self-study. That opens the mind and gets it ready to receive. Then, Easwara Pranadhanani. Now you must understand that the Yoga Darshana, many of his terms, are largely derived from Sankhya, of Kapila. Very important darshana in Indian philosophy. Kapila is so important that in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna declares, among the Munis, I am Kapila. When he says, among the Vedas, I am Samaveda, He also says, among the munis, I am Kapila. Now, Kapila is Sankhya. It's a very important. In fact, even Vedantins adopt terms of Sankhya philosophy, like gunas, tattvas, and so on. So, in that, there is no real concept of an Easwara as a person. It's only the storehouse of all wisdom from ancient times is Easwara. But Patanjali modified it and said, yes, that is true in one way, but Ishvara is that entity which can also be personalized, which means not just something in the air which is the origin of everything, but something which has a consciousness and not something unconscious. You may say it is akar or nirakar, but definitely not nirguna. So, this concept is Ishvara. So, when you say Ishvara Pranadhanani, means ani means also. It means that there are certain things which we cannot ourselves do. We are almost powerless to do. At that point, surrender yourself to the higher reality which is called Ishvara. Here, Ishvara. So while we do Tapasya, Swadhyaya, and also sometimes say that this is too big for me to understand, may I surrender to the higher realities which may guide me there, then it becomes Easwara Pranidhana. In Sankhya, there is also the concept that a person or a yogi who has attained Kaivalya is a Purusha himself and therefore Easwara. Now, this is a very dangerous concept because everybody will start claim I am Easwara then. I have to be careful on this matter. Then, what does he call this yoga when you put all these three together? Kriya Yoga. So if Kriya Yoga is part of Patanjali, then all the rules that apply to that are applied to Kriya. So it has also 8 parts or 8 branches, which is why it is called Ashtanga Yoga in many places. Nowhere does Patanjali call it Ashtanga Yoga. He calls it Kriya Yoga. But actually it has 8 parts. So therefore it is referred to as Ashtanga Yoga. Actually, if you look at it, it's Saptanga Yoga. There are 7 parts because the 8th one is not a way of doing anything, it is the goal where you reach. So if you look at it, the Ashtangas, the 8 parts, which also apply to Kriya tomorrow when we do Kriya. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi, eva samyama. So that Samadhi is actually the 8th culmination of all the other 7. So if you want, you can coin a new term, Saptanga Yoga. So therefore, even for the practice of Kriya, we need to go through all these steps. Not as if I will live as I like and then I will practice Kriya and attain. Start with Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama. No, we need not do all the asanas. This is not what we are saying. Something to do also with the body. This is Kriya Yoga. So this, first we will explore this thing, the term called absolute consciousness, individual consciousness, and so on. And then after the Samadhi pada is over, the aim, where are we moving is understood, then we will go to the sadhana in the afternoon session, and then we'll also refer to the Yama Niyamas. Minimum, which have to be followed. Why I'm saying this is because when Babaji told me to teach Kriya Yoga, He said you can teach Kriya Yoga to people who follow these 20 rules. And he told me the rules one by one. So I told Baba it was a crude thing to do. I said, please find somebody else, Babaji, with all due respect, because these 20 rules I don't think anybody can follow on this earth. So find something easier. Finally, something happened, I won't go into it. And he said just 4 rules, 3 rules to follow, 3 basically. Stick to it, and the rest is all right. I said, if you're talking about then people have already reached perfection, they can be like this. So we are just starting. We are all imperfect. Let's perfect ourselves and move. So he said 3 rules to be followed. Suspense, I'll tell you tomorrow. Very simple. Doesn't mean don't drink tea, coffee, and all that. Don't worry. So we will start with that. So now I'm going to open it up to the new people who have come. This is how the ancient teachings went in the Upanishad. The student would go to the teacher. So there is a wonderful principal Upanishad called the Prashana Upanishad. Means question Upanishad. Huh? Prashana Upanishad. In which 3 sons of prominent rishis are sent to another rishi, Uddalaka Aruni, to study about the truth. All 3 of them come. They introduce themselves. They say, we are the son of so and so. We have come to find the truth. Please teach us how to find the truth. Satya. The teacher says, the great Rishi says, first of all, I am not definite that I am going to teach you. Secondly, you just come, live with me for 3 months. Live with me for 3 years. And at the end of it, I will teach you if I know. It's from the Upanishad, Prashna Upanishad. So therefore, I will also teach you if I know. It's always good to start with saying, I do not know. Upanishad says another beautiful saying. He who knows, knows not. And he who knows not, knows. What does he know? That it is not possible to know it. How? Through the sense organs. Or even through the mind. Nor even through pravachanas. The Katha Upanishad says, Niyamatma pravachanena labhya. This Atman cannot be understood through pravachan. So futile, right? So I want you to understand this. This is why this pravachana is. It is to be found by one whose mind becomes pure. When the mind becomes still and quiet, and it does not discriminate with people, it's the same. Give the microphone if anybody wants. Let them. Please, only one condition. Don't ask me to produce a Rudraksh. I forgot to bring it from home. Yes, good question. But this is not what I expected. Anyway. Okay. So, it's good to have unexpected questions actually. Because if you have expected questions, you will manufacture the answer before. It's like this. 3.5 years I spent with Babaji, Maheshwarnath Babaji, in the Himalayas, right? Not only in the Himalayas, he used to take me out sometimes to other places. In these 3 years, I studied a lot. But I also understood That study doesn't mean scholarly study. It means going in depth and understanding it through anubhava. This is the most important thing. So I did study, as you say, many things. It is interesting. When Babaji taught any text, Yoga Sutras, Brahma Sutras, Upanishad, Gita, he did not have a single text in his hand. And it used to happen so informally, since you have asked the question. Walking around suddenly near the Ganga, somewhere or near a mountain, he would say, Bato, sit down. Then he would sit down. And then he would say, Today we are studying the Upanishad. So I'm first 2, 3 times I was looking, where are the Upanishad? No Upanishad. Then he would start. And when he said something from the Upanishad, it was done in such a way that it never left my head. Break. Now this is a special way of teaching. It's not easy to do that. He would say, now we start the Kena Upanishad. Why Kena Upanishad? He first taught me the Kena because it is from the Samaveda. I'll discuss that tomorrow, but so this is how I learned many things. And then, of course, afterwards I learned how to connect and figure out what things are. Then he said, you should uh, learn Sanskrit. I said, Babaji, now that also. Yeah, yes. So he sent me to a Vidwan called Joshiji in Uttarkashi. I went there. Babaji brought me there, told the Acharya, please teach him some Sanskrit. And then, so he said, but Babaji, who is he? He said, मैंने जो कहा उसको करो. He went off. And I'm there in a little kutir, near his kutir. First day he said, when you learn Sanskrit, you should first learn Akshara Shuddhi, sound. Then only we go to other things, grammar and all that. So learn to chant, read or follow me when I say something, you follow me. I said, okay. Now the first thing they teach when you go is the 15th chapter of the Gita. There is another reason also for that. In all those ashramas there, unless you chant the 15th chapter, you cannot eat. Just you chant, then you eat. Also, it's a great chapter. It's called the Purushottama Yoga. So he said, now you repeat after me. I said, all right. He said, Hari Om Tat Sat. I said, Hari Om. Sri Paramatmane Namaha, Paramatmane Namaha. I followed him. I didn't know. Urdhvamulamatashakam Ashvattam Prahuravyayam. I repeated. It looked like this. And again, Chandam Siyasya. I said, wait a minute. Are you sure you didn't go to any Pathshala? I said, no, sir, I haven't gone to any Pathshala. Then how is it that your pronunciation is correct? I said, I don't know. Then he said, Babaji, कैसे कैसे लोगों को लाके हमारे पास छोड़ते. So that is only 6 months I studied a little bit of Sanskrit with him. I did not study anymore. It was enough for me to take up a text, read it, translate it, and explain. This is how it happened. And it happened gradually over the years. I won't say immediately it happened. I learned to open my mind and let things be absorbed instead of shutting it down. That's all I can say. With the blessings of Babaji. No, no. Then they are not visions. See, I got it. That's okay, don't worry. There are many fellows Yes, also sitting. Hmm. I don't. Visions are not so important, since you mentioned it, as the inner experience of joy and the understanding that you are not the body but something else. Visions can happen even with, what is that, ayahuasca, something, or whatever people take, or no yogi must have had as many complex visions as LSD users. So it doesn't mean much. We have to cut through all this vision. In fact, we think this is also a vision. Although one would say, no, this is material. We'll look into this tomorrow. I like you for being honest. That you have to ask the one who did it. I don't know. But the fact is, it is there.
Yeah, and
See, look.
why it is there? Like,
Now, gravity is there, right? You have to follow the rules or you'll fall down. You can't say who sent this gravity, how did it become. So, this is the mind trying to find an excuse to not go into it. Then it comes up with so many of these complicated, where did it start? Now I must tell you a story. Buddha told a beautiful story about a person who went into a mango grove to eat mangoes. Somebody hiding in the bushes shot an arrow, right? The arrow hit him in the heart here. He fell down. Now the Buddha's question was, if you want to be free of the arrow that has hit you, you have to learn how to pluck it out first, right? Or, he said, will the hunter lie there and speculate who sent the arrow? Where did it come from? By the time you find an answer, you get gangrene, you're dead. So, the practices of sadhana are done to remove this arrow of pain that is in you. When that is removed, then you have a chance to explore where it came from, right? And then, after, when you find it sometimes, you find it difficult to tell somebody what it is. That is also there. Simply because it's like this. A little child asked the parents, Daddy, Mummy, do you really love me? Yes, my dear, we really love you. You love me the best. Yes, then why didn't you invite me for your wedding? It is possible. Logically, it seems okay, but it's not possible. So, go into it, discover the inner being, and then you'll probably find an answer to this. And then when you try to tell it to somebody, you na vidmo, na vijani mo, yatha, I don't know how to explain this to you. Intentions are extremely good. Nothing like that. You've not done any Guru Droha, nothing like that. It's simply that the first thing you said is important, which is, yes, if you accept somebody as a student or a disciple, then it is your duty to make sure that no matter how many lives happen, the person moves towards the truth. This is what I say. So, whether you had it before or why this happened, that's a different question, second set of questions. The first thing which you said is, yes, will you take charge of us and take us till we attain moksha? Right? Now, just a minute. Now, that may not happen in this life, suppose, because your intentions may be good, but you may not have the strength to sustain it. Then what happened? Then we have to go into the. Now we get to the question of is there another life and so on. So before you look into this, read my second part of my autobiography. which is called The Journey Continues. So go through The Journey Continues, and you will see this person sitting here had to go through so much before coming to wherever one has reached. But it may be that you have good karmas, who knows? It may happen tomorrow. So don't make yourself powerless by saying, oh, I am a sin. I always think we are children of the immortal. Hmm. The Upanishad calls us children of immortality. And stop not till your goal is reached. Amritasya putraha is the word used. So don't say that I am different, I am small, I am big. No. Every human being is Amritasya putra, the progeny of that which is infinite and deathless. That's what you actually are. Right? So don't worry about all that. Put your mind on that and say, I will find it one day. I will find it one day. Don't be discouraged. Huh? Saying I'm a married man. So all I can say is that if I could reach, you could reach. You see, I live in this world. Sit down. I have a family. I have children. They also gone through teenage. I have a wife, very nice lady, may not always agree with me. Normal. So that's not important. You will learn as you progress in sadhana how to handle these things. They will come naturally. Only thing is, don't miss the thought that the most important thing to do is to find the truth. But be careful that you don't unnecessarily cause hurt to other people. Keep this in mind and continue with your progress. You will certainly, it's quite normal that if you're moving toward one path, there is always a diversion coming. As you progress, you will learn how to handle it and stabilize it and be balanced. I had one advantage. Before I got into this world and his life, before opening the jackfruit, I had applied some oil in my hands. So it didn't stick much. If this is why in ancient times they had a period of brahmacharya, then grahastha, then vanaprastha, then sannyasa. Because in that brahmacharya period, you learn how to live when you come to the grahastha period, so that you don't get caught or pulled down by it. Right? So since we don't have that now, nobody tells us how to lead the life of a student, a brahmachari. So therefore you find it difficult when you face such situations. With faith and understanding and patience, it is possible to go through it. We have many people here who are living with children and family, good sadhaks. So that friction will happen, but then you should know how to handle it. If you're sincere, then it will happen. I must tell you that it has happened to many people. It's not for one or two, but it has happened to many. There was a great man who started a movement which now has spread worldwide. In the early days, he used to go away from home and sit in Vrindavan and work on translation, English translation of the Srimad Bhagavatam. One day, he came back home with his manuscript, handwritten and put it there. After a few days, somebody was selling peanuts on the road, groundnuts. So he said, give me one. So that guy, peanuts, they make a cone with paper and put it. So he was about to eat it when he saw that it was one of the pages of his manuscript. It's a real story, it's not any. Then he said, who? Left it there and went away, never came back from Vrindavan. Which means he thought that is more important than, because if his Bhagavat manuscript is being used to wrap peanuts, so his value is only peanuts at home, right? So one has to think. Now the wonderful thing is, if both partners in a family are interested in spiritual matters, then it's a great thing. Otherwise it is a little difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible. If both are interested, then it works. Both are interested, not only does it work, the future generations also become better. Hmm. Okay. In Andhra Pradesh, there was a very saintly man and his wife. They came from an already saintly family. They got married, both sides. And then the husband was so much involved in Vedic studies and sadhana and things like that. He loved his wife, of course, but there was no physical much going on between them. And the wife was also a devout wife. And the olden days, now they'll probably give one slap and what is this? But so one day she told him, look, the Vedas say that if you have a family life, you should also have a child. We have not had a child. And imagine if we have a child, since I am also inclined towards spiritual matters and you are totally involved in it, the child might turn out to be a very spiritual person. He said, yeah, that is right. So what are you suggesting? She said, so we should have a physical relationship. Maybe some blessed soul will come in my womb. He said, okay, I have a solution for this. I will give you the Taraka mantra of Rama. You chant this mantra every day. So much so that after some time, all the time, whatever you're doing, the mantra is going on in your mind. And when you go to sleep, that is the last thing that occurs to your mind. And when you wake up in the morning, that is the first thing that occurs in your mind. And when you're having a dream, you're still chanting. When we come to that state, maybe we should think about it. So he gave her the mantra. He was the guru. She chanted it for some time, maybe for a year or a year and a half. I cannot remember this accurately. One day she told him, now, when I go to sleep, the last thing is the mantra. When I wake up in the morning, the first thing is the mantra. In the dream, for the first time, I heard myself chanting the mantra. And throughout the day, when I am doing all the activities of the household, I hear the mantra having. So now, what do we do? He said, all right. So they had a child, they had a boy, who they named Ramakrishna. This child was the one who later on became old student, Sadashiva Brahmendran. Sadashiva Brahmendran. Pibure Ramarasa. You heard? There was a great Avaduta who used to walk around what is now Pudukkottai, what used to be the kingdom of Pudukkottai, that's high, and North Orchid and so on, immersed in the divine. And after some time he stopped talking because when he was Asthana Vidwan of the Mysore palace, somebody went to see him, went there and came back and told his guru. He asked, "How is my disciple doing?" He said, "Oh, he's doing brilliantly. The only thing is he's so arrogant because he defeats everybody in discussions, and therefore the palace is going to give him some ceremony title or something." So he said, "Please ask him to come and see." We went to see him. Before that, he had written all the lyrics, which are very famous in our literature. He also wrote something called Yoga Sudakara, which is linking the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali to Vedanta. When he came to his teacher, he said, "I heard that you have become so arrogant that you're defeating everybody in argument." He said, "Yes." Stop talking. He became silent. He remained silent till the end. Sadashiva Brahmendran. So, maybe this can also happen. Who knows? Now I'll stop. We have meditation here. Okay, now since we are starting today, no, we need to just chant Om audibly, you and I together, 7 times. Then sit quietly and meditate in whatever way you like for today. Hmm? So tell me when you're ready. Ready? Shall we chant? Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Thank you.